I am very encouraged by the sudden concern on the other side of the aisle about climate change, and it makes me feel as though our efforts have been effective, at the very least, in distancing between the dangerous strategy of climate denial, which we know is costing us lives, at least 3,000 Americans in Puerto Rico in Hurricane Maria. But aside from that, when we talk about the concern of the environment as an elitist concern, 1 year ago, I was waitressing in a taco shop in downtown Manhattan. I just got health insurance for the first time a month ago. This is not an elitist issue. This is a quality of life issue. You want to tell people that their concern and their desire for clean air and clean water is elitist? Tell that to the kids in the South Bronx, which are suffering from the highest rates of childhood asthma in the country. Tell that to the families in Flint, whose kids have their blood is ascending in lead levels. Their brains are damaged for the rest of their lives. Call them elitist. You're telling them that those kids are trying to get on a plane to Davos? People are dying. They are dying. And the response across the other side of the aisle is to introduce an amendment 5 minutes before a hearing in a markup. This is serious. This should not be a partisan issue. This is about our constituents in all of our lives. Iowa, Nebraska, broad swaths of the Midwest are drowning right now, underwater. Farms, towns that will never be recovered and never come back. And we're here and people are more concerned about helping oil companies than helping their own families? I don't think so. I don't think so. This is about our lives. This is about American lives. And it should not be partisan. Science should not be partisan. We are facing a national crisis. And if we do not ascend to that crisis, if we do not ascend to the levels in which we were threatened at the Great Depression, when we were threatened in World War II, if we do not ascend to those levels, if we tell the American public that we are more willing to invest and bail out big banks than we are willing to invest in our farmers and our urban families, then I don't know what we're here doing. I don't know what we're here doing. So I welcome the sudden enthusiasm to address the climate. And in that spirit, I want to reach my hand across the aisle and say, let's do a hearing. Let's do a hearing on environment and housing. And I'm happy to do that, and I'm happy to bring forth and entertain that provision of the bill. Thank you very much. I yield my time.
Would the gentlelady yield?
Madam Chair, move to strike the last word.
Will the gentlelady yield is the question.
Yes, I'll yield.
And Mr. Hill has asked for the gentlelady.
Mr. Barr.
Mr. Barr.
Yes.
Oh, Mr. Barr has excuse me before.
Yes.
The ranking member.
I'm asking if the gentlelady from New York would yield.
Yes, just one moment. The ranking member has asked for recognition. Are you asking the gentlelady to yield?
No, I asked, I thought she had yielded back and therefore is asking for time.
No, then I will recognize the gentleman, Mr. Barr, who's asking the gentlelady to yield. Does the gentlelady from New York yield?
Yes, I'll yield.
The gentlelady yields.
Thank you, and I appreciate the gentlelady from New York's passion about the issue, and I think it's genuine, I think it's heartfelt. And I also appreciate her passion for working Americans and the need to provide for a future of prosperity for working Americans. And I want to invite the gentlelady to come to Eastern Kentucky, my home area, where thousands of coal miners no longer have paychecks. I invite her to go underground with me and meet the men and women who do heroic work to power the American economy. And I would invite the gentlelady to come to Eastern Kentucky and meet the coal miners who will tell you what the Green New Deal would mean for their families, their paychecks.
With respect, I reclaim my time. I'd be happy to. In fact, when I first started my campaign, the first place I went to was to Kentucky, and I sat and I drove from the airport to where we were staying with an individual, and he was telling me his story. I'd be happy to go to Kentucky. And I'd also like to note that in the Green New Deal, one of the things that I advocate for is fully funding the pensions of coal miners in West Virginia and throughout Appalachia, because we want a just transition to make sure that we're investing in jobs across those swaths of the country. Thank you very much.
Gentlelady's time has expired.